Hello, Instagram users. Most of you probably use the application through a mobile device or some sort of tablet and rarely access it through a web page. If you're one of those people, this video might interest you. Reminded me of some things that I had seen back when I was still using Facebook. I have not been on Facebook for a while, but I would notice that when accessing the site through a browser, sometimes you could catch glimpses of metadata that existed within the page about images or videos that had been posted. So as you're scrolling through a timeline or something like that, if the page loads slow enough, you could, through plain text, get an idea of what Facebook had identified in specific images. So I wanted to, after seeing that actually earlier this morning, I wanted to just take a moment and show you how you can view what Instagram/Facebook is recognizing from your photos or videos. So you can see my profile right here. I've got, some different photos here, all of pretty different subjects: nature, car, some paper, ice skates. So let's take a moment and I will show you how to inspect the page and look at whether or not Instagram has identified objects or subject data about the image and then included it as metadata within the source on the page. So if I want to view the page source on Chrome or really any modern browser, you can do it through a couple of ways. I like to just right click on the page, or an extended click, whatever operating system you have, and click inspect. This brings up a window which shows me pretty much just a raw view of all the code. Everything that comprises the page over here to the left is represented in the pane on the right. One of the cool features, this is heavily used by web developers. Like if I'm creating a website and I want to look at and interact with the site in a way that a user would, I will utilize this portion of the browser, which breaks down the page into so many different categories and the services that are running in the background on a page. You can view all of that through the different tabs up here. So you can get a console view of like when JavaScript or things execute in the page, you can get an idea of what's happening. You can look at the network activity. But for now, we're just going to focus on the elements which comprise the page. In Chrome, at the top left corner of the elements portion of the window pane, you can select this option, which will make your cursor actively highlight elements that you hover over on the page. For example, I'm hovering over this picture and you can see on the left side where the code, it's revealing which portion of the code is actually relates to displaying this image. So if I click on this image, it highlights this line right here. This is a div class, and above that is actually the image data itself. And you can see the beginning of the image tag and the metadata that they have included here is a photo by Matt Bowler on September 2nd, 2022. And this is where it gets interesting. May be a close-up of African daisy or nature. It's actually a zinnia. I didn't look at this one earlier when I was viewing the page, but that's really interesting how it identified the type of flower. Let's try a different one. This is actually broccoli flower. Maybe a close-up of flower or nature. This is a new pair of ice skates. So again, photo by Matt Bowler on the date. Maybe an image of footwear. Pretty cool. How about this one in the car where you can't see a human face, but there's obviously a human. I guess you can kind of see the nose there. Expand that. Maybe image of one person. let's try a different one. How about this image of a school assignment that got chewed up and then had to be recreated? This one's pretty cool because as we look at this, you can see they're parsing the text. Maybe an image of text that says, and then it gives you a pretty accurate representation of what's actually written on the paper. Do with this what you will. I just found it very interesting. I had, again, seen this years ago on the Facebook timeline feed as it would load under a slow connection. You can sometimes see the raw metadata on a page. Maybe you've seen this before, maybe you haven't. Feel free to share. I think it's just a very cool look, maybe kind of concerning, depending on your thoughts on the subject, of how these companies are ingesting your media, analyzing it, and probably somehow profiting off of it at the end of the day. Take care. Have a good one.